Put a finger down if you got arrested when you were 18 years old because you were doing stupid 18-year-old things. And whenever you arrived at the jail, the jailer was somebody that you actually happened to know. And so he got you processed in, he got you in a cell, he did you a solid and put you in a cell by yourself. And also when you got in there, there was a phone and you didn't expect the phone to work, but for some reason it did work. And there was just like a little trick to it you had to figure out, but you were able to use the phone multiple times. So you started calling all of your friends, but all of your friends were really pissed off at you. So then you called your ex-boyfriend, and thankfully your ex-boyfriend, who also was pissed off at you, decided he would try to get you bonded out. However, you happened to get arrested on the day before they do court, and so they said you cannot bond out whenever it's the day before court. You have to stay there until court the next day and go through the whole court thing. So you're going to be in there for a little minute, not just in and out. Okay, so you're in there, and then it is now day shift. And so the jailer that you knew goes home, and there's a new jailer. And the new jailer is a middle-aged lady who you don't know and who's not very friendly. And she gives you a new roommate at some point. The new roommate comes in, and she looks like she has really seen some things in life. She lives somewhere and everywhere, she says. Her name is Kim, and she loves to... Okay, that's what she says. So we lovingly refer to her as Head Kim, and she's good with this. You're terrified of her. You're laying on the bottom bunk in the fetal position. She requests a mattress to put on the floor, and so she stays down there on the floor. You're fine with this. You stay on the bottom bunk and you mind your business. Little did you know, you and Kim are going to forge a bond during this time. Breakfast is served. You receive a singular hot dog wiener at room temp and a crappy slice of bread, and then mystery side of something. And then you also get a cup of some liquid. That's the only thing you're excited about, because at this point you're becoming dehydrated and upset, and so you really would like to clear this parched feeling you're starting to have. You take one sip of this red liquid and realize this is very lukewarm, non-sugared Kool-Aid, and this is not satisfying. So you get rid of that. You ended up giving your breakfast plate to Kim because you're hoping in your mind you can go home soon. It begins to be daylightish, and they allow you to make your official first phone call. So you call into your job at the time, and thankfully the cool manager, who was a relatively delinquent individual at some point in his life, happens to answer, and he says, "Ashton, are you in jail?" And you say, yeah, I'm not going to make it in today for my shift at 10. And he was like, "Clearly, okay." So you continue talking to your new friend, Kim. Kim's telling you all about her adventures that she has in life. She's telling you about her Johns and about her tricks, and she's telling you about how whenever she likes to hallucinate about Shrek's wife, and then she remembers that Shrek's wife name is Fiona, and she's telling you all about these different visions she has about Fiona, and they're relatively salacious, might I add. So anyway, you form a bond. She gives you a little bit of life advice, and some of it you take away with you because it sounds important and relatively reasonable, and some of the rest of it sounds like you should just... So anyway, she also tells you about some of her friends that she runs with on the outside. One of her friends' name is Tony, and you don't want to meet Tony, is what she tells me. And I'm like, fair enough, I hope to never. So a few minutes later, you hear the new unfriendly jailer lady walking down, and she opens your cell, and you're wondering what's going on because there's only 2 bunks in this cell. But little did you know, they can just forget about that and throw in another human. So this other woman comes in. She's large. She looks like she could protect a building. She's wearing a jean skirt and nothing else under it, and some other thing, and you're afraid of her immediately. She comes in. She says, "Hey, give me that mattress. My shoulder hurts." You say, "Yes, ma'am. No problem." Kim looks up. She gets excited. She goes, "Hey, Tony." And at this point, you're like, my life's over. Thankfully, they didn't take you out. Okay? We just got to make it to court and get through this. But then, okay, the jailer comes again. And you're like, surely not. We can't fit another person in here. But they did. So another woman comes in. She looks like a finicky, frail older lady that just reads and knits. But she's a Looney Tune. Because she starts asking, do they give you crazy people medicine in here? And you're still in the bottom bunk in the fetal position, and you're like, I don't think so. They haven't given us shit since I've been in here. She continues on with her blabbering about being a lunatic, and Tony and Kim are down there conversing about whatever they're going to be cooking up when they get out of, whenever they get out of here. And you're just like hoping and praying that you can get the F out of here at some point. You're not even really sure what time of day it is because the window in there isn't real and it just looks dark all the time. So you're a little messed up in the head at this point. Thank God court rolls around. They shackle your wrists and your ankles like you've been running around slaughtering the human race. And they take you to court. You get your whatever stuff that you have to take care of. Yes, you are a criminal piece of shit of society. Thank you. Let's move on now. Next thing you know, they start releasing people. They take Kim out. Bye, Kim. Nice to meet you. They take Tony out. Bye, Tony. Nice to meet you. Looney Tunes goes somewhere else, and you're wondering what the fuck is going on here. Finally, they let you go. You collect your things, and you walk in shame all the way home. Then you find out that the reason this experience was so absolutely unfreaking believable is because your parents talked to the jail and notified them to make this horrible for her and keep her there as long as legally possible.